So we have talked about the things that have stood out for you and the very good and important moments, but what challenges have you experienced in the close to a decade? And you know, you don't look old, you look pretty young. So now we're trying to guess your age, because at the same time, black don't crack.
I started this when I was 12. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Wow, wow. So what challenges have you experienced, and more so as a woman in business? What are the challenges you have experienced?
Whoa, girl, I made a list. Let me pull it out
Okay.
for you. No, I'm joking. Money is always a thing.
Yeah.
Money is always a thing, whether it's waiting 1 year or 2 or
To be paid.
to be
Chasing
paid.
people.
Like I've waited literal years to be paid. There's also just haggling with people. You know, by the time you've kind of made a name for yourself, unfortunately, we're still in a space where people don't really understand the value that you bring. So there's haggling. I've had to go back and forth with a client about why I'm charging that amount of money. What other challenges are there? There's that. There's also just like even, you know, just the growth, you know, finding opportunities for growth, working on your craft. You know, like I've paid for programs while I was a makeup artist, just so, and I paid for a program that was a lot of money, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
Because after that program, it was called the Accelerator Program. After that program, like the way I presented myself really changed. And I feel like there's a lot of times where you look for information that you can't really find on YouTube.
Yes.
There's like a lot of information that, and it's that sort of subtle, those nuanced things that you would never think about. But that's where the for me, value is hidden in the nuances, not in like what is actually being put in directly in your face.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So now let's talk about, we have talked about inclusivity of makeup brands and makeup products. What has been your experience, especially as an African babe, trying out products and realizing, well, this was not diverse enough? And what has been your experience, basically?
Oh my God, I used to work at Mac, and a lot of like not even an African babe, but also dark skinned as
Yes.
well. A lot of like dark skinned women would come in. I remember there's one dark skinned woman that came in and she saw me, she's like, I'm gonna talk to you. And I was like, no,
Don't
because
do
I
it.
don't know if I can really, really help you. So like, for me, I find that like a lot of brands will stop just a little bit darker than my skin tone or a little bit lighter. I've had to, there's a whole process and way I do makeup now because of that. Like it's something that I even, it's a weird way of working, but it's because of how my skin tone wasn't really like, it wasn't really included in the shades.
True.
So it's a lot of, I work with African brands, obviously. Black owned brands as well, actually, is one of the tiers that we work with as well. So like on a global scale. I think in 2020, now we're in 2024 because it's now November.
Basically, we are done.
Yeah,
It's the
basically,
new year.
December is like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I think we could do better for African brands. I don't know if I've even had to ask myself the question, like, is like darker toned pigmentation more
Harder
expensive?
to make.
Is it harder to come by? Because why as African owned brands also, are we still kind of like going with the old narrative of that, like no inclusivity, when most of the people that live here, well, not most of them, but a lot of us have like darker skin tones, and like still not understanding the range that we have as black people, you know, because we go from like yellow to red to orange to
Yeah.
blue to
They don't
purple.
get the undertones or nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think like there's still a long way to go. I do give my feedback, and the feedback that I get from some brands is that it wasn't the trend, or maybe I want to think that what they meant by trend is it wasn't high on demand.